This is the Stop Time podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Hopkins, and I'm here to engage you in thought-provoking, motivational conversations around practicing the art of living in the moment. I'm a certified life coach, and I'm excited to dig deep and offer insights into embracing who we are and where we are at. I am thrilled to welcome my next two guests. Two extraordinary creative forces whose work is shaping the future of musical theater and storytelling. Returning to the podcast is the brilliant Angelica Chéri, an NAACP Award nominated playwright, musical theater writer, screenwriter, and poet who was recently named by the Washington Post to its Next 50 list, recognizing people shaping American culture and society in 2026. And by Variety as one of Broadway's top 10 stars to watch. Joining us for the first time is Ross Baum.
First, not last.
Definitely not last. A New York-based composer, singer, songwriter, music producer, arranger, and vocal coach whose work spans Broadway, television, recording, and live performances. His collaborators include Tony winners, Grammy nominees, Broadway stars, and artists from NBC's The Voice, and his work has been heard everywhere, from Sesame Street and Nickelodeon to Lincoln Center, Radio City Music Hall, and the Kennedy Center, to name a few. Together, these two powerhouses, Ross and Angelica, are the creators of Broadway-bound musical Wanted, opening this fall at James Earl Jones Theater, following acclaimed productions at Signature Theater and Paper Mill Playhouse, where it was named a New York Times Critics' Pick. Their partnership is not only artistically groundbreaking, but historically significant. With Wanted, Angelica becomes the first Black woman to write both the book and lyrics of a wholly original Broadway musical. Yeah, hello. And I am just so excited to welcome both of you here today and introduce everybody. If you don't already know them, they're going to be household names. We've got Ross Baum and Angelica Chéri. Welcome back to Stop Time. Angelica and Ross, welcome for your first time.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Incredible to have you.
Rossi and I were both on the Washington Post list, Next 50.
That is true.
The two of us, not just me.
Yeah, we did an amazing
Rossi.
photo shoot.
Yes.
No kidding. And we will share some of those photos because that was pretty brilliant. Just before we get in, this is from my heart to yours. So I had a long day. Good day, but long day. Mostly with my dad. And Angelica, I know how dearly you held your dad. And my dad's going through some rough times. So I spent a really, really long day today with Dad. As I go, I put earbuds on and walk out of that world and start listening to that opening. And do you know, Ross, first of all, that tempo, never changed that tempo. I felt so empowered. It felt so forward moving.
Which song were you listening?
Gun and Powder.
Right? Oh, yes.
I suspect
It feels like you're riding on a horse or strutting down the street.
Strutting down the street. That was me. I was like, just back off, everybody. I am moving forward, and I'll smile at you if you want to smile, but I'm going to keep going forward.
Well, that's one of the messages of the song, right? It's like through all the challenges that life throws at you, you grab it by the balls and you take hold of it.
100%. Well, that's exactly what it did for me. And that's exactly how I connected to it. I thought, oh yeah, I was in it. Like, you captured that, Ross.
Thank you.
I'm
so glad that you
powerful.
picked up on that. Tempo is such a funny thing though, because even like 2 clicks faster or slower can make a song feel like an entirely different song. And it really affects the delivery of the lyric, especially in a musical when everything is coming at you for the first time.
Yeah. How did the two of you first kind of find each other creatively?
So we were both musical theater writing MFA students at the Tisch School of the Arts for graduate musical theater writing and at NYU. And that program is like basically speed dating between composer, lyricists, words people, music people. And so the first year you spend basically rotating between the music people and the words people, doing different assignments together. And our assignment,
To create a basically a montage song, extended sequence is what it was called,
yeah,
from a Chinese action movie.
Curse of the Golden Flower. Mm.
And we reimagined this sequence as a Grammys performance. So, like, the Prince was Justin Timberlake,
Yeah.
and the
Nice.
Queen was Lady Gaga.
Mm.
And we had all of these pop artist references to represent these Chinese royals. And there was 808s and there was rapping and all these fun pop melodies. It was the first time that I think I really broke out of the musical theater genre, I would
Yeah.
say, because it was halfway through the first year. So we had already done probably 7 or 8 assignments,
Mm.
and we just really spoke the same language, and we had so much fun.
It was so much fun.
So then we chose each other at the end of that first year to spend the second year working on our thesis,
Ah,
which was Wanted.
Which was Wanted. At the time, Gun and Powder,
yeah.
We met in
2014,
2013. We started writing our show in 2014.
14.
We graduated the NYU program in 2015, and we were, I think, the only people crazy enough to keep working
Is that right?
on
You
the
guys the only ones still
thesis.
going? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone.
Well, no, what if
And
Alexandra and Eloise,
yeah,
Rebel
oh yeah,
Prayer?
that's true.
Yeah, Rebel
They
Prayer
just did
just,
that at Syracuse.
yeah, Syracuse.
That's cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's some staying power. I mean, we all know it takes a long time to write a musical, but nevertheless, the fact that you're still together.
And we also pride ourselves on we've never had a fight
We never fought.
Really?
in
Right.
in
Yeah.
12 years.
Talk to me about the seminal moment when you kind of was like, I think I really, there's something here, this collaboration. Not even the project. It sounds like it probably was a lot people oriented as well, right?
Definitely. I mean, because we did first, obviously, that initial collaboration. Then, when you look at the finished product, because it's two things, right? There's finished product and there's process.
Mm.
And the process, like the finished product, we were both like really, really pleased with. But even just the process, we were like, we just literally had fun. It was easy. Like it was, we had, like he said, like, we spoke the same language. So that just goes a long way.
Yeah.
And when it came time to figuring out what musicals we would write for our thesis, we were both, tasked to pitch and show and share ideas with different people in the cast. And I remember having this idea because we talk about historical figures as being like source material for for a
Hmm.
musical. And I thought about my great great aunties that I had been told about since childhood, and I thought there's a musical here. And I was just like, I feel like Ross would like, what would that be like? I think that would really be sick. Like that would be fire if like Ross and I wrote this show. So I was excited to pitch it to him.
I just find it so fascinating the actual moment when Ross comes into your life. How had you thought, or even before the MFA program comes into your life, had you thought about it being a musical, or was it when it became the assignment that you were kind of like, oh wait,
Yeah, like it never crossed my mind
wow,
before. I didn't even think that I would be writing musicals.
yeah,
I just it just not because it was just like far-fetched, but it just didn't cross my mind because I was so firmly a playwright. Like I had done before NYU, I had done just a MFA at Columbia at just straightforward playwriting, but
mm,
that's when I was introduced to lyrics. But I was a spoken word poet, but I didn't think like, okay, I'm going to as a career like write musicals. And then getting into NYU and having that experience, I was still not clocking that you're carrying some family narrative because I didn't know. I had no idea. I think it wasn't until the task of think about what musical you would want to write.
yeah,
And then for Ross, just because he himself is such a vocal powerhouse as a singer, he truly writes for the voice.
hmm,
And thinking about Ross, thinking about the strongest way into composing for musical theater, it's got to be the voice. That's the character, that's the story. And I was just like, I think Ross would kill it. Like, I think we would have fun. I think we would have an amazing time. And I was just hoping he would be down. It's kind of far-fetched, but what we did with the Curse of the Golden Flower was crazy. So I was like, I think he would be down for this.
So when you started kind of working together, did you like low key go check each other out in your other work? Like did you or do you know what I mean? Or is it did you just kind of go with how you met each other and what you did together and from there? Because you both had done a lot of stuff. I mean, on your own, like there's stuff to be found, I'm sure.
Honestly, I didn't have much else. I had graduated college and then I
Yeah.
went to work as a performer on a Disney cruise.
Okay.
And
So you were
then
just fresh off the boat.
yeah, literally. And then the very next day after I stepped off the boat, I started at NYU.
Okay. So that makes sense.
So there really was not much time.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, and it wasn't until I moved to the city and started at NYU that I started doing those other things like I formed a music group with some friends from college, and that was how we did like the Sesame Street and the Nickelodeon stuff, and
Mm.
it was all that all happened kind of around the same time that we started
Yeah.
writing our show. So I don't even know that I had that much to check out. It really was just like our experience of each other.
Yeah. Had you had
Yeah.
you composed much before then? I mean, and you are I second that. You're an incredible singer, right? So was that one of your strengths that was sort of guiding you in the beginning, or were you always composing?
I was always a theater kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I always sang and I played piano from the age of 5. My mom put me in piano lessons and then in theater classes when I was about 10. And we grew up 30 minutes away from New York City. So I would just take the train in and go see shows with my friends, and my parents loved the theater. So I was always a theater kid. I wasn't always composing. I mean, I wrote little things here and there. I wrote raps, really inappropriate raps in high school that got me in trouble.
Oh my God. I
So
knew
I
that
guess you
really
could say
too.
that was kind of a step into composing.
That's funny. Did you write songs? Like, were you like a songwriter ever, or
Um,
not so much?
no, no. I started writing the musical as a joke in college, and then because my mom found everything, the piano lessons and the theater camp and the theater program, she found a summer program at NYU.
Oh, wow.
In the musical theater writing, they offered us like a summer workshop. So summer before my senior year of college, I did that, and
Wow.
that was actually the first time I really started like writing real songs.
Were you drawn to that? Like, did you suddenly realize, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this? Because it doesn't sound like you were watching theater and saying, oh, I want to write that.
Yeah, what I really loved was the vocal arrangements and the
Mm.
harmonies. And that's what I really responded to at first. I wasn't thinking about like the construction of the songs and the overall like story arcs of the musical.
Yeah.
I was really into the harmonies and the ensemble
Ah,
vocals, and then I got into really into a cappella in college,
cool.
and I did all the arrangements and the music direction for my a cappella group.
Hmm.
And
That's
so
so
I think there was a natural progression from there to the songwriting, but like more specifically the type of like communal singing that we do in our show, because it's
Yeah.
very ensemble vocal
Mm.
driven, and that was the thing that I really fell in love with.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. Broadway is like so often glamorized, right? But the path there is so long, as you know, and demanding. And I'm just curious to know from both of you, like, how do you stay connected to yourselves through all of it?
Oh my gosh. I mean, for one, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Hmm.
The moment you think, we're going to do this, we're going to write this, we're going to put this up, it's going to be on Broadway next week, that's when you already just have to just take a deep breath, and you have to really surrender to the process. I think that's the first thing. And the other thing is understanding that life has to continue happening. Imagine if 12 years happened and we only focused on this one show for the whole 12 years. Like that's been the focus of our work together, but the rest of our lives have grown tremendously. Ross's career as a singer, songwriter, producer, alongside the show, and then me writing for television and film and other
Mhm.
straight theater plays alongside this show. Honestly, it doesn't take up the calendar year when you work on, obviously, right now, Broadway, it is more all consuming, but every year before that, it was just like concentrated blocks of time because we
Mhm.
had this workshop and we had this production and we had this thing. But then there would be months where we weren't focusing on it as closely. So you had to continue to develop the other things. So it's just about remembering that you are a whole person, not just this one show, and thinking like, what are all your other interests? Remembering to stay in tune with your spiritual practice. For me, it's my faith in God, it's
Mhm.
my family, it's my friends, it's all my other interests, and being balanced. Because when you are dysregulated as a person and don't have your own personal balances, like the moments that I just like sacrificed everything just to work, like the work suffered. The work is better when I'm regulated and I'm healthy and I'm balanced and I'm, doing the things that regulate my nervous system. So that's something I'll carry with me with everything. And another thing I'm noticing too, it's like not feeling like you're not prioritizing the work when you're working on something else, because
Mm.
it's very true that work begets work. I can be working on something in TV, but something that I'm, searching for or perfecting in a pilot or in a TV episode script shines a light on something that is helpful for Wanted. So
Yeah.
it's just like it all serves each other.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I think that's a really important point because there is a sort of fear, right? When
Yeah.
you're sort of weighing things by how much time you spend on it or worrying about not spending time on it, how that's helping you. And you're absolutely right. I think that's a really huge discovery that obviously serves you very well. It probably took a while, right? To come.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we do that naturally, especially when you're passionate about what you're doing.
Mhm.
It can
Yeah,
become, if you think of your projects, we talk about this sometimes as children, right? It's you can't just leave that child like,
yeah,
and you go, well, no, no, you've nurtured that child well enough to leave it alone for a minute, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's yeah. What about you, Ross? How do you stay connected to yourself through all of it?
One of the things that's coming to mind is the idea of control
Mm,
or giving up control.
yeah,
I find that in the moments or in the phases that I'm kind of hyper fixated or really trying to control something related to the show, that is the moments that I get more easily worked
yeah,
up or thrown off or frustrated or hyper fixated on a certain situation or challenge. And accepting the ebbs and flows over the 12 years has been something that I've learned and something that's been really healthy because for however hard something feels in the moment, when we get um, past it with a bit of perspective, looking back, it always makes sense. I'm always appreciative for whatever that hurdle was,
mm-hmm.
whether it's an opportunity that didn't end up materializing or a certain collaboration that for whatever reason um, didn't continue, or if we lose a certain actor who we were felt really attached to, um, just like accepting accepting the waves of the journey
Yeah.
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 is really, really hard to like when you're first starting out. It can be hard to cope with those things
Yep.
Yeah.
because you're going through it all for the first time, and we still are going through everything for the first time. So it really does feel magnified in some ways.
Yeah.
You're coming up against all of these things. There's no teaching how to do this because every show is different. Every path of a show is different.
Yep.
So I think rolling with it, it's been
Yeah, fair.
reminding myself to roll with it helps me stay grounded. And also Angelica really took the words out of my mouth, which is that there is more to life than this.
Hmm.
I'm building a business. I have other musical projects, and
Yeah.
sometimes you point out to me when we have our sessions, you haven't mentioned your show at all in like the last few weeks. And
And
that's
I'm
always like nice to remind myself. I'm like, oh yeah, this is huge, but also it's not the only thing.
totally. You know, the thing about it is, it's as you guys were talking, it got me thinking of like, the trajectory, right? That's a big period of time in people's lives. And the life of a musical is so ambiguous, right? Because, you know, yeah, in our, our pie in the sky dreams, what I'm writing is going to end up on Broadway or win an Academy Award or do whatever. And probably everybody would share that dream. But what happens is with this ambiguity is the more it moves forward, the more your project moves forward, the more ambiguous it gets, kind of, even though you feel like you're getting closer, but you don't really know what you're getting closer to because there's never the promise, right? So that's like where the commitment requires of you, it feels like more or maybe a different kind of commitment, right? I mean, now it's different, and we'll talk about where you are now because now you've got the theater booked. But up until 6 months ago or 8 months ago, that might not be the case, right? So I'm taking us back to that journey of getting on a train, basically, real slow for a while, slow and heavy, and just picking up stuff on the way, maybe changing paths, and then it starts getting faster and faster and faster. But I'm just curious to know, like, the waxing and waning. Talk to me about that. Like, was there ever a time that either one of you felt kind of like, oh, we're just gonna maybe just let this go, or
There was never a time that I thought that I wanted to like throw in the towel. That was never a thing for me. What has been really challenging is there are powers that be that kind of operate Broadway, and there are many shows that are circling at one time. And there have been many times over the past 3 to 4 years that it's really felt like, this is the reading that's going to seal the deal. This is the workshop that's going to seal the deal. We've got one more. We're inviting everybody. We're inviting those powers that be. And this is the one that's going to seal the deal. And it's like, okay, this is it. And then we do it. And then for whatever reason, sometimes it's as silly as like there's a celebrity who wants to come and do a show,
yeah,
and they grab that theater. It rarely has anything to do with you or your talent. It's just circumstance
totally.
beyond your control. And so that's been really challenging. It's like this goalpost keeps moving, but
Yeah,
we don't know what it is. We don't know what the goalpost actually is, but we
exactly.
just know that it's moving.
You said it way better. That's exactly what I mean. You're on this moving thing, right? Where it just keeps moving. And the closer you get to it, like with going, okay, no, we've gained enough momentum that this could actually really happen. It's not pie in the sky. And in fact, a lot of people tell us it might happen. So, okay, here we go. But then they keep moving it, right? The frustration of that. What if it never happened? What's your backup plan? If you had never thrown the towel, then what does that look like if you didn't go to Broadway?
I mean, I don't even think, and I mean, Ross, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it was ever an option for either of us. Like, what if this doesn't go?
Mm,
Like, because even when we were still students, still just writing this as a thesis musical in 14 and we were in room 256, practice room at NYU, we said to ourselves, like, this is going to Broadway. We had no idea what that meant. I mean, we had a loose idea. We didn't know what that was going to look like, what that would entail, but we just knew like it was going to Broadway. And as Ross said, and same with me, like there was never a moment for me that I was just like, I think I'm done. I think we're going to throw in the towel. We
Hmm.
had multiple reasons to think that way. Like we had a pandemic that happened
Yeah,
literally
right.
like the whole world shut down. Like literally, we had the first major production at the Signature ran from January 28th to February 23rd of 2020,
Wow.
right before the whole world shut down. And
Wow.
we were thinking we're going straight to Broadway after that. And, we had all of this time. And the truth is that um, there were multiple things that were happening even beyond that, structural changes, the creative team changes, so many different changes. I think it was a combination of multiple things. One, I have to say P3 Productions. Our producers and have been relentless. And that makes the biggest difference is when you
Yeah.
have collaborators who
Hmm.
believe in you, who are fighting for the show, who are unyielding in the best way. Like we are taking this to
Yeah,
Broadway. And I think that was just that they matched our passion because
Mm.
Ross
totally.
and I had that same passion. Like, this is going to Broadway. We don't care if everything is on fire. Like, we don't care what's going on. Like, we're going to Broadway. It was never a question where we looked at each other like, well, what do we do now? Like, and
Mm.
even like my father passed away in the midst of this. All kinds of things have happened. I knew that, and I'm going to get emotional saying this. Like, there were times where I'm like, I know I don't have it right now. I know I don't have it in me to rewrite this scene or to do this or do that, but I'm like, I can't let Ross down because Ross is counting on me. I have to show up and put myself together and do my best
Mm.
because I'm not going to drop the ball. And
Yeah.
there's just like so much to be said about having the right people in your corner and partnering with the right people because if it weren't for that, maybe we wouldn't be sitting here. But
Yeah.
to know like I'm gonna fight for you when I don't have it, you've got me. When you don't have it, I've got you. And we have that same sort of support system surrounding us. It just was like there is no plan B. Like this is all the way.
That's awesome. Bravo. I mean, it's rare to hear that, honestly. You guys support each other, obviously,
Yeah.
both creatively and personally, but to have, the people that are trying to raise money, trying to make it
Hmm.
happen,
Yeah.
to feel that way about you beyond just seeing it as a viable commercial project, which it is, but clearly that's not their mandate, right? Like so many, and it's really to tell this story, and it's you can feel it. The coolest thing is that, aside from the incredible story that you're telling, just this energy that you guys have all created in the process of bringing it to the world beyond just the project, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of surpasses all of it. It's, well, in our language, Ross, it's very level six, right? It's really,
Yes, yes. I was gonna say also going off of level six, it trickles down
yeah,
into the company as
yep,
well. There's like this hunger that
mhm,
I think is like permeating everybody who is involved from our director, choreographer, like creative team, and then the cast is just so like hungry for it
yeah,
because they everyone believes in it so much, and so it creates this real energy
yep,
in the rehearsal room, and it really does feel like co-creation,
yeah,
like level
totally,
six.
yep.
um Synthesis, right?
Synthesis, yep.
Synthesis.
And the core result is wisdom and joy.
And the
Joy,
joy is, I mean, is unmatched.
yep.
Totally.
And it's easy to get protective of that. And we've talked a little bit about that. When you're creating something so joyous and part of something that is so joyous, it's easy to sometimes feel, especially when you're burned out or, things are being thrown at you, to feel a little bit protected about that or defensive. I'm curious, does it ever come up for you?
It's interesting what you're saying is that you know, we definitely have this, and I've never had to identify it in a physical or tangible way.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a filter that we have,
Mm-hmm.
or this microbiome, this bubble, this protective layer, this,
Uh-huh.
atmosphere that we have surrounded our child, the show, because it's so, it's so difficult to be objective
Yeah.
when receiving feedback or when someone gives feedback because of how activating some of the subject matter is in the show. We're talking about racial history, we're talking about the history of our country, we're talking about bloodlines, ancestry, we're talking about so many things that are not neutral emotionally for most anyone. And
Mm-hmm.
that's especially Americans, but globally, like it's just not a neutral topic. So the reactions that come from a variety of places. And so we definitely, when we receive feedback or when we are in collaboration or in, creation, we definitely have this filter of, okay, because you have to, when it's something that is, when you're creating anything, you have to absolutely, and we learn this in grad school, of course, as well, but it's just like, what is useful about what's being shared? Because there are things that are fundamentally just not aligned with where the show is going
Mm.
or what the show is about, that sometimes come, or something that comes from a place of, lack of understanding of context or different things, different, whatever it is, like whatever the thing is, we always, it always hits the bubble first. We don't
Mm.
allow it to penetrate the show first. We always look at it before it penetrates and say, what's really being communicated through what's being said here? Because ultimately, it's never what is being said on the surface.
Yeah.
It's always about what is that thing pointing to. It's a symptom. It's like, okay, there's a cough. All right, we don't treat the cough. We treat the like the infection underneath the cough. What's
Yep.
causing the cough, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, this question's happening. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what we have to address. We need to address the root of what's being commented on. And fundamentally, when we do that, we always find, oh, there is something that is being communicated through this that will fundamentally just make the show clearer, make it
Mm.
stronger, make it more undeniable. Because the goal is that when we put the pencil down on opening night, we can walk away, and for 25 years, people on Broadway will be in the James Earl Jones, and there won't be left with the question of, I don't understand what I just saw. It's, I have this visceral feeling because it interacted with this part of me. So we do definitely um, strive to understand what the root is of everything is,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just receiving everything at face value, because that you can't work like that on anything, I don't feel.
No. That takes maturity.
Oh my God, 12 years. I hope we've matured.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. The
Yeah.
12 years has served you well, right? Because 12 years ago, you probably would have reacted very differently. You wouldn't be telling me what you're telling me. Yeah.
Definitely. We were talking on the phone yesterday, and I said I found this really great TikTok video came up on my feed, and it had this amazing quote, and it said, "Forgive yourself." What was it? Forgive yourself for the things that only time could teach.
Hmm.
Oh, there you
Forgive
go.
forgive yourself for knowing now the things that only time could teach.
100%. I
And I
love
thought
that.
that was so amazing.
It's on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can face certain situations and make decisions now in a more mature way
Yeah.
than we could 12 years ago, because when you're just starting out and you haven't established yourself, or you're not quite sure your direction, it's so easy to jump on the bandwagon of like either the first thing that comes your way, or the most attractive thing, or the shiniest
Yeah.
kind of opportunity, or or potential collaborator, like when you are vetting directors or producers,
Yep.
um, or a team, any team member. Um, but with time, you realize what are the right questions to
Yes.
ask, and kind of like how to gauge a vibe.
Yeah.
Even as something as specific as like when you're wanting to hire a music director, like not being shy to ask them for some samples of them playing your score to get a sense of like how they play. But it's like when I was in the earlier days, it's like, oh great, you're available and you've done a show on Broadway, great, let's do it. But then you realize like, oh, it takes a really, kind of specific kind of temperament, and it's more people skills than musical skills, like when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes to that specific position. So like
Yep.
things like that, like we can handle in much more mature of a way,
Totally.
but only time could have taught that.
100%. The other really cool thing that's striking me about the timepiece as it connects to Angelica, what you wrote, like to your show, you guys, is that was a told story that happened through time and that grew through time until it arrived to Angelica. And then Angelica has also evolved. So she is the ancestor, but her ancestry in 12 years has also changed. And also there's this new family, right? You guys sitting in front of me here and beyond that has grown out of this. So it's the legacy and the ancestry thing that time has afforded it, right? It would be very different even if it had been successful 12 years ago. There's something
Yes.
really beautiful and grounding about that. I find.
I mean, absolutely. Because, like I mentioned, like my father passed away
Hmm.
during the life of this show, and he is obviously just because of being my father and being, this is his mother, the grandmother Dora, who who's had the
Yep.
pictures. Um, he's already inextricable from the DNA of the show. But now, as I mentioned before, like Ross and I, there are songs, staple songs that were written at his kitchen table. The last flight that he went on in his life was to come to Paper Mill to see Gun and Powder that was wanted at the time. Well, Gun and Powder at the time that's wanted now at Paper Mill.
Yep.
It was just like, I don't know, like I feel like the world also at large has become even more receptive to this type of story
Hmm.
because the way the world has changed in the 12 years. I mean, I remember sharing this with Letticy, our Tallulah, the queen. I was having brunch with her yesterday and I mentioned to her 2014 when we first sat down to write the show. Mike Brown had just been killed in Ferguson. And we said, oh, this is the time. Is really the time. This is the moment that we have to write this show. And so if we think about all the things that have transpired in the world since Ferguson and, till now, the way that we are talking about race and about our history and about identity and dignity and safety and belonging and community, we are not we're having different conversations. We're able to say different things. We're able to be more direct. We're able to be more honest
Yep.
and more receptive. And people are wanting and craving more honest conversation
Yep.
than they were 12 years ago. And that only has helped to our benefit as well.
100%. The word forgiveness is coming up. Without forgiveness, you can't grow. I don't know. The word just really was blasting loud in my head as you were speaking about that. And given that what I do is for a career is listen,
Mm,
that's all we ever want, right? Is to be heard and to be seen and to move forward in that way.
It's so interesting you said that because that's actually forgiveness was actually a word that I was meditating on this
Mm,
morning, like in
mm,
my devotional time as I was like in scripture.
that's crazy.
And it's crazy. It was because it's actually a scripture in the book of Hebrews um, about the difference between forgiveness and vengeance.
Yeah.
And it's like there's this idea that living in the space of forgiveness versus living in a space of vengeance. And I was really meditating on that today. I was like, wow, when you want vengeance, it's almost as though, yes, it's a form of justice, but in vengeance, there's something about you that wants someone to suffer
Yep.
because of what they did to you, versus forgiveness. You just want the situation to be corrected, and you want compassion, and you want to be seen, and you want recognition. Because if you can forgive, then that means that you are no longer asking for someone to be punished. You are now just asking for them to have for the change that's necessary to move forward and to see the world differently and to make different choices. And that's interesting that you mentioned that, because that was my whole morning. That
That's so
was,
weird because
yeah.
I was getting literally this feeling. I was like, I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm just going to say it. The
That's
word
so
was like literally forgiveness for you. That's so funny. Well, there it is.
Lisa has officially joined the mind link.
yeah, exactly. We have a mind link
Well, and it's
across
really
time.
it's really interesting
Wow.
too because the when you choose forgiveness, you choose yourself. And that's counterintuitive because
Mhm.
it sounds like you're saying you're lessening yourself in order to, you know,
Mm,
to say, oh, okay, it's not that bad, but not at all. When you choose forgiveness, you're taking care of yourself, right?
Mhm.
Because when you hold on to that, it just hurts you.
Mhm.
right.
And it just
Mhm.
it's so powerful. It's so difficult, but it's very, very powerful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Angelica. I'm glad I said
Well,
something.
thank you. You, yes.
What are you most afraid of? You can take it in whatever direction you want.
That's such a hard question. Why is that such a hard question?
You know, because I don't think in the sense of this, I have really been operating or thinking about fear. It's interesting because I feel like people have been projecting more fear than what I'm actually feeling. People have
Mm.
been saying, like, oh my God, the pressure, you must be so overwhelmed, you must be so exhausted, you must be so anxious. I'm like, not until you, like, I wasn't, I'm not. Like, it's so interesting because I was doing the math. I was like, yeah, 12 years on this play. But then I've also been writing for a total of 25 years, not to date
Mm.
myself. And I'm just like, yes, it's Broadway. Yes, it's all these things. And not but it's a production.
Yeah.
And we've been here. And I think the thing I'm most afraid of is giving in to fear.
Yes.
Hmm.
Interesting. Why? Can I ask why?
Because then I'm losing sight of why I'm here.
Mm.
If I become afraid, then that means that I am negating all the time that I've invested in this show and in my craft and in our collaboration and why God sent me to this position. And then I'm taking in the external because it's not coming from me. Like I feel very certain about, yeah, we're here not by accident.
Hmm.
So like we've done the work, we've put in the time, we've invested, we're still asking the questions, we're still doing the work, we're still doing the work. So I'm just like, yeah, like
Yeah.
staying present,
Yeah,
staying present.
I think, well, I guess since you said just in this moment,
Mhm.
one of the things that I fear is my own attachment to the outcome, which is easier said than done to let that go. But it also it means that I'm not living in the moment and that I'm not open to the possibilities that I'm not seeing. The more possibilities than my own projection of what this outcome could be. You know, one can only dream. Over 12 years, you have a show that's going to Broadway, and you formulate this image of your head of what that's going to look like and what that's going to lead you to and all of that. But I think the attachment to that is something that scares me, and that I have to constantly remind myself to let go of.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, fair. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's very real.
Then there are moments that I'm like really living in the moment and like
Yeah.
super aligned, like sitting in the auditions today,
Yeah.
and it's like um, my boyfriend Tyler texted me. He's like, "Have a great day today. Like this this is something that little you would only have dreamed about."
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
And that was
Yes.
such a nice reminder of like,
It's beautiful.
yeah, like I literally dreamed about this. Like we're sitting in auditions for a Broadway show.
Yep.
This actually is the victory. This is the outcome. This is the thing because we're here.
Brilliant.
And I could only have dreamed of this, of even getting to a place where I'm sitting in a room and having all these incredible artists come and sing our songs and
Yeah.
being surrounded by a whole table of collaborators
Yeah.
that I love so much. And like that's actually the thing.
Yep. The ultimate I get to.
Totally.
Choice with gratitude. I'm here and I'm grateful for it, right? I mean,
Totally.
yeah. Angelica, it's Ross actually answered before I asked about what younger self would be proud of. What about you? When you were a little girl, can you think back to young Angelica?
it's so funny. And this goes again back to my father because he he's said for many years that I became a storyteller when I was a little girl. I did
Mm,
not think that I was going to be a professional writer. Like I didn't think that I was going to write for theater. For the longest time, I thought I was going to be a physical therapist, if you can imagine. But I was doing theater, doing performative things since I was little. I was in Shakespeare competitions in middle school, like nerdy, like those drama geeks, like it was the funnest thing. And then started writing plays. When I say 25 years, like I wrote my first play in high school.
yeah.
Like I wrote a one act in ninth grade and then another full length in 11th grade, and it just started to click there. But even when I was a little child, my father and I played because he was a singer and vocalist, and
Mhm.
he did voices with Yogi Bear, and we did this game where he would do the characters and the voices, and I would tell him the storylines and tell him what to say and give him lines. And he was just like, you've been doing this since you were a
Yeah.
child. Like you should um, pursue this and take this all the way. And so I think little me would be shocked. Like little, like 6-year-old me would be like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like we're really playing make believe for a living. Like this is wild. This is awesome. But then I think 16-year-old me in the 11th grade would think, wow, yeah, okay, so this was not just some fun thing we did on the side and
Yeah.
like thought this is cool. It was like this really is our life's
Mm,
mission is to really tell these stories. And that's, I think I would be really, really excited.
yeah. And your dad will be so friggin' proud. Well, how do you guys recharge? Like, you have busy schedules, you're running around doing a lot of stuff, you're human. You live in a stressful world that we all live in. Anything that really works for you to recharge?
Wally,
The
Yeah.
my
puppy.
dog.
Yeah.
He probably lives in the moment more than
Oh,
any
yeah.
being on this earth that I know.
Aw.
Wally and sound baths.
Mm.
I love a good sound bath.
Do you get recharged when you're with people, or do you feel like you need to be more alone? What about you, Angelica? How do you feel about that?
Definitely both.
Mm.
Like, I definitely need my alone time, and that's my like my worship, my prayer.
Mm.
My cat, I have the fluffiest. I'm surprised he didn't make his way in here. Well, he's sleeping. It's his time. But
He's recharging.
he's recharging. I take my cues. I learned so much from watching cats. But yeah, definitely that. And then my fitness, like I'm doing hot yoga and step and hiking and just being outside. Like all of that fuels me.
I usually do. finish this phrase. Most people think this about me, but the truth is, but instead of that, we're going to do, most
Mm.
people think collaboration is, but the truth is. And I'd love to hear from both of you kind of what,
Ooh.
yeah, you can take a minute to think about that.
I think most people think collaboration is like just working together and the best idea wins. And that's part of it. But collaboration really is someone helping you to become a better person. Because I really feel like our, like working with Ross, like it's not just, oh, this lyric can be clearer. It's just like, oh, I have learned so much more about where I can be stronger as a person and where I can push and where I can be clearer, and like just the overall point of our collaboration has not just been about the work. It's literally have been has been for me about like who I am as a person. So I'm just like, yeah, Rossi has definitely made me a better person.
Aw.
Mm,
It's true.
Likewise.
It's so true.
that's beautiful.
Hmm.
What about, yeah, Ross, what do you think?
Most people think collaboration is working together on a common goal, but collaboration is leadership in the sense of, and this is something that you have taught me, leadership is as a concept is not hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually about the exchange of energy. And so I lead not up and down, or I'm not led by somebody who I perceive to be above me, but in a true collaboration, everybody is leading each other at all times. And it takes shifting one's own energy and also reading other people's energy and responding to that and being able to shift your communication in a way that accesses the energy of the other person. And so collaboration is leadership.
Yeah. Energy leadership, baby.
Yes.
Brilliant. So proud of you.
I couldn't have done it without you. I could not be here without you, honestly.
Well, it was a collaboration. I mean, coaching is a co-creation.
Totally.
So, because I'd be a horrible coach if I was leading you all the time. If I was leading you where I wanted you to go.
Hmm.
I love it.
And leadership is also being willing to be led. It's not just yanking somebody in your direction and saying, "Come
Totally.
on." It's also being open
Mm-hmm.
for that flow
Yep.
to be led. Because I think the best leaders do not lead with a heavy hand. The best leaders are actually the best listeners.
Yep. 100%. Rapid fire. What makes you feel most alive?
Roller coasters,
Dancing,
What makes you lose track of time?
music production,
spending time with friends,
Okay. What makes you doubt yourself?
overthinking.
oh, can I say overthinking too? Can I steal that?
Sure. What makes you keep going?
My collaborators.
My future, just
You,
knowing there's a future.
I love that. What makes you feel connected?
Hugs,
Deep conversation.
What makes you feel hopeful?
The sky.
Yeah.
oh, I love that. Prayer,
What makes you feel creatively free?
music.
Seeing the creation in front of me.
Ah, oh, I love that.
What are the top three things that happened so far today, Ross?
Top three things that happened today. Well, someone came into the audition and just killed it.
Oh, I
Like
don't even know who that is.
the door shut and people were just writing stars next to their name.
Nice.
Every single person was like,
Wow.
That's
That was
awesome.
one.
Was it a
Yeah,
surprise? Like, were you expecting that to happen when that
total
happened?
surprise. I didn't
I
had
love
no
it.
idea who this person was.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that
exciting.
was one thing. Two, oh my trainer told me I should start a cut, and for the second day in a row, I'm holding faithful to that.
All right.
So that was two. I'm doing well on that. And
Nice.
then three, um, this
Yeah.
this.
Nice. Thank you. And Angelica, what about you? What are
Love
the top
that.
three things?
So the top three things. So I just like I mentioned, but when I just had this massive revelation when I was in my
Mm.
meditation prayer time this morning. So that was definitely the first. And then I did a hot sculpt class that
Mm.
was I lifted up to I went up a weight in a couple of exercises. So Rossi and I, we both have a physical fitness
Is
element
that?
in ours.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the third I found what would be the third? The third, oh, I had the sweetest like voice message from my best friend when I woke up. It was just like, oh my God, this is about when our like we hung out yesterday. And so it was just like, oh, my sister, it was,
Mm.
yeah,
That's nice.
How about you,
of course this. Yes. How about
Lisa?
you, Lisa?
This is definitely one of the tops.
Yes.
Um, and within this was actually me saying the forgiveness thing, and then that was a place where there
Yes.
was a space like where yeah, I always
Yes.
talk about this. I mean, it's the name of my
The
book for that
places where
reason.
there are spaces.
Like literally, because I could have just not created that space, and had I not, we wouldn't have made that connection. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was really special for me.
Yeah.
And thank you for
Agreed.
coming into the
Likewise.
space. So that was
Thank
really very
you.
cool. What is something you're looking forward to after this call, like today, like in the next very short period of time, and then ultimately in the future?
Oh my gosh, definitely smushing my kitten. Definitely looking forward to that when he comes
Nice.
out from under he likes to nap in the sink. So as soon as he comes out of the sink, I'm gonna like
I
the
love it.
bathroom sink because he's super fluffy and the porcelain helps with air conditioning under his little undercarriage. Um, and then what am I looking for to long term? I mean, this might be obvious, but yes, I'm looking forward to standing in the theater on an opening night. But even I think maybe more than that, I'm looking forward to the day that we move into the theater,
Mm,
that we take the rehearsal into the space,
yeah.
and that we get to like move into our home, which is the James Earl Jones.
What about you, Ross?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it
Other way
the
around?
reverse. Yeah, other way around. So what I'm looking for in the forward to in the future is the first day of rehearsal. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about to stand in a circle and see all of the faces and all of the all of the people who are going to be on this section of the journey with us, because it's always been a different group of people. It's inevitable that it's always a different group of people,
Yeah.
and we're obviously in auditions right now, so it's really in flux. And so I'm just excited to see first day of rehearsal who are the actual people that are going to be telling this story on
Mm.
Broadway.
Mhm.
And what I'm most looking forward to right after this is, after you have a full day
Mm.
and you turn the lights off and your head hits the pillow and you just do that end of the day exhale.
Mm.
It's like an exhale of gratitude. And I'm just like, yeah, I did that. I
Yeah.
Mhm.
did that day.
Yeah.
And I love that, just that breath, that exhale when
Yeah.
your head hits the pillow and you could just release and
Yeah.
also just feel some gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm.
You guys, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. I expect that you can feel it. I have so much love, respect, excitement, support coming your way. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing that you're doing, and it's so important. But again, it's the way you're doing it that is so impressive. with such love and grace and care and integrity, like all the things. And I'm just so proud of you. I'm looking forward to being there with you on your opening night.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
be there so bad. So yeah,
Lisa.
count me in.
100%.
You know,
Thank
I
you.
and to your point, Angelica, you said one of your answer was hugs, and
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that because I've
Yeah.
gotten to hug Ross,
We
but
never
not you.
hugged. Oh,
She good
oh,
hugs. You both
Yeah.
give good hugs.
oh.
We can
So
do a group hug maybe.
That'd be
100%.
After
great.
your individual hug, we can do a group hug.
That
I
sounds
love
perfect.
that.
That sounds perfect.
Perfect.
But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've been speaking today with Ross Baum and Angelica Chéri. I'm Lisa Hopkins. Thanks so much for listening. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and remember to live in the moment.
In the moment.
Oh. In music, stop time is that beautiful moment where the band is suspended in rhythmic unison, supporting the soloist to express their individuality. In the moment, I encourage you to take that time and create your own rhythm. Until next time, I'm Lisa Hopkins. Thanks for listening.